Tucker Carlson Tonight slams Biden for making America more dangerous with border policies. It's a bewildering experience working in cable news right now. Fun, but pretty unbelievable. Just about every morning, some story from the Biden White House crosses our screens, and we think to ourselves, come on, there is absolutely no way that can be real, please. It's just too crazy. And of course, pretty much every morning, what we had assumed was a joke turns out to be entirely real. It's actually happening. The Biden administration really is that crazy. They really are firing thousands of nurses in the middle of a pandemic, firing thousands of cops in the middle of a crime wave. No, they're not kidding, even in the slightest, when they tell you that's a genuine female four-star admiral standing right there. Joe Biden isn't giggling. He tells you Rachel Levin's promotion is a victory for women everywhere, and he means it when he says it.
He means all of these things, even the ones he doesn't understand, which is most. As the guy who runs the Babylon Bee told us recently, it is getting tough to run a parody site in this country. No matter how creative your jokes may be, it is almost impossible to be more ludicrous than reality already is. And yet, even by those impossibly high standards, we can confidently announce tonight that we have just read the single most deranged news story ever printed in this country. So no matter what happens going forward, and God knows what that will be, this story will live forever is the high watermark of political lunacy. Mark your calendars. It's October 28th, 2021. This is the day that things couldn't possibly get nuttier. And here it is, according to a piece in this afternoon's Wall Street Journal, the Biden administration has decided to pay reparations to illegal aliens. In other words, foreigners who came here without invitation, who came in willful violation of legal statutes passed by our Congress, per our Constitution. Those people are about to get a groveling apology and huge amounts of cash. Why? Because our government dared to enforce its own laws, which now apparently is immoral. So the Biden White House is going to pay criminals for committing crimes. It's almost impossible to believe that's real, but it is real. According to the Journal, the administration plans to offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 a person in compensation. The U.S. Department of Justice, Homeland Security and Health and Human Services are considering payments that could amount to close to $1 million per family. $1 million per family for illegal aliens at exactly the moment that American families are becoming noticeably poorer by the day. You won't be surprised to learn, according to the paper, that nearly 1,000 reparations claims have already been filed. Why not? The total payout from all this, more than $1 billion. So how much is that, exactly? Well, let's see. If you're an American citizen who is killed in a war defending your country, our government promises to send your family $100,000. That is less than a quarter of what Joe Biden intends to give illegal aliens for the inconvenience of being deported. They're once again getting $450,000 apiece from your tax receipts. That's more than some of the 9/11 victims got. It's more than any ordinary American ever gets for anything from the US government. Most people in this country just give. Foreigners with no respect for our laws or systems, meanwhile, are hitting the jackpot. So take 3 steps back. You've got to wonder how long this sort of thing can continue. How long before the people who make this country run, who, by the way, are not the same people who run this country, those are 2 very different groups, but before the people who make this country run decide they have had enough and they are not going to take it anymore. Why pay your taxes at this point? Seriously, it's too insulting. It's too destructive. It is evil. Now, who knows how long it's going to take to get there, but at this rate, it's coming quick. In the meantime, what can we know? Well, we can be certain how the rest of the world is going to see this announcement. Why wouldn't you cross our border illegally at this point? You have to be insane not to. Joe Biden is literally paying people who do it. So, not surprisingly, as Fox's Griff Jenkins just reported, new waves of illegal migrants are coming here as fast as they can. Here's one caravan. Griff Jenkins, chanting liberty, the caravan charges through a checkpoint as the Mexican National Guard stands by watching. The migrants, undeterred by Mexico's Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard, who says they are being deceived by the organizers. Ebrard, they tell them, "Let's go in the caravan. We get to the US and they will let us pass." It's not true. You saw what happened with the Haitians. It's the same thing. Griff Jenkins, but the warning isn't breaking the will of the migrants. Migrant, that's not stopping us, cause we got the power of God right next to us. And he's going to open. Migrant too, that is not going to stop us. We're still proceeding. We're still moving. It's not going to stop us. We act like this is an act of God. We just can't stop it. But that's not what's happening. The Biden administration is actively encouraging this, and more so even today. The legislative framework that Democrats released today would give amnesty to millions and millions of illegal aliens. It's the largest amnesty proposed in the history of this country. The Center for American Progress, which is of course closely aligned with the Biden White House, released an analysis of this, and it concluded that nearly 7 million illegal aliens living here would get green cards under this proposal. Specifically, it would legalize anyone here illegally as long as that person could show he or she arrived in this country. Follow this. Between January 1, 1972, during the first Nixon administration, and December 31, 2009. That's the span of 4 to 7 years, quite a strike zone. But what, you ask, about the millions of illegals who've come here since 2009? Well, they're fine too actually. The Biden administration has just put out a list of no-go zones, not places that foreigners who break our laws can't go. They can go anywhere, especially where you live, but a no-go zone for federal officers who are trying to enforce those laws.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe